Yo, what's going on YouTube? Sunny here, and today I'm here to bring you a brand new deck profile, fresh from the Paldean Fates expansion. And what we have here today is one of the newer EX cards printed. It's not a reprint like some of the other ones are. It's a fresh new EX, and it is Espathra EX. Espathra EX is a brand new card in the set. And it's a very interesting one, to say the very least. It's one of the ones that actually stands out the most as a new card. It has an attack called Ball, which for 1 psychic energy does 30 damage, and then attacks on another 30 damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. So obviously, you know, the more energies on both active Pokemon, the more damage you do. It can actually bring in some one-shots if that's possible. Might be a bit hard for some, but, you know, possibilities are out there, and definitely very reminiscent of the old Mewtwo EX from back in the day, from the black and white era, if anyone remembers that card. The thing that makes this card very interesting is its ability called Dazzling Gaze. Dazzling Gaze is an ability that, you know, whenever this Pokemon's in the active position, it makes all of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks cost 1 energy more, so 1 more colorless energy, which can be destructive against a few decks. Forces another energy attachment, which in tow can actually mean more damage in general for Espathra to do to the defending Pokemon, of course. It is a Terra Pokemon, so obviously the type here is going to be different. It's going to be a Grass Terra, which actually is pretty strong at the moment. This card's expected to do amazing things against cards like Charizard EX and, of course, Roaring Moon EX, which are 2 very popular decks at the moment, which both have a Grass weakness. So odds are you're going to be one-shotting those cards pretty much all the time, giving this deck a nice little matchup against those overall. So this is the basic deck right here. This is the list I've been starting out with, running recently. I ran it in my most recent weekly tournament as well, which for anybody that does want to sign up for my weekly tournaments, my Limitless link is down in the description below. And there's always registration open for a tournament. So most recent tournament will be up and running for you if you do want to play in any of my weekly tournaments. But yeah, I did pretty decently, I'd say, for the first try, even though this is basically a starting out point for the deck. A few flaws here and there, but we'll go over those in a little bit. So Pokemon line is pretty simple. We got a 4-3 line of Espathra. We do have cards like Manaphy and Jirachi to protect us against both Bench Snipe, and cards like Sableye, what the Jirachi has in store for us there with damage counters. And the main acceleration for our deck over here is Xatu. Xatu is Clairvoyant Sense ability, allows you once per turn to attach a basic energy card from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, and then it lets you draw 2 cards. So energy acceleration and card draw built into one awesome ability. So we have a 4-4 line of that. For even more card draw and overall, maybe just we can even use the attack if we get there. Mew EX with its restart ability, which lets you once per turn draw cards until you have 3 in hand, so even more card draw as well. Now, being the fact that Espathra has its ability that disrupts opponents, we also, in conjunction with that, run cards that can disrupt energy attachments as well. Like, we have a couple copies of Crushing Hammer, and for some of those basic Pokemons, there's a copy of Pokemon League Headquarters as well. But like I said, some of these counts could change over time. Again, this is just a base list. If you think there's any changes I can make with this list at all, or if any changes that you think you'd like to run with it, definitely let me know in the comments section. I'm definitely open to opinions. And then the rest of it's pretty simple. Fog Crystal for Pokemon and Energy Search. Nest Ball gets you some search as well. And of course, we do play the majority of basic Pokemon for setup, so obviously Battle VIP Pass is another strong card as well to get you started. And supporter line's pretty simple. 3 research, the Iono, 2 boss. Nothing too fancy, just everything's like straight to the point. 10 psychic energies, because we do rely on a good amount of psychic energies to get our attacks going, and obviously with Xatu get our draws going as well. So that's why we have that count right there. And obviously recycling cards is strong, so there's stuff like Super Rod. Xatu works from the bench, so obviously we want our things that we tend to attack with on the bench, and then we want to get it out there with Switch as well. But But obviously that's also why that makes UEX a great card in this deck, because it has free retreat. So you can, if you're not using it as card draw or anything like that, you can definitely use it as a pivot for when you want to, you know, move around the active and whatnot. So now that I covered the basics of this deck, what it does, and all the sort of tricks to it, we're going to go ahead and try a few games on the ladder and see if, you know, if we can get some good matchups, maybe see if we can display maybe some rough ones as well. About like maybe 2 or 3 games. We'll see what the ladder has in store for us. Okay, so we have our first opponent. We'll see how we do here. Now, obviously, since this is a deck that our main attacker is a stage 1, we definitely want to go first. That's a for sure. We do want to go first, and hopefully the RNG gods will give that to us. Just gonna wait for the coin flip, and it looks like we get the choice. So yes, we are going to go first. I did see them with like Roaring Moon accessories. Maybe that means they're playing Roaring Moon. We'll have to find out. Which, like I said before, that should definitely be a strong matchup for us. The start, though, isn't the best. We can still get a Flittle out with the Artazon. Hopefully that is the case. But we do have a pretty weird hand, and it does look like we are going to be playing against a Roaring Moon. I saw Professor Sada's Vitality. I saw the Booster Energy thing. So, yep, that is definitely what we're going to see. Alright, but I did start Jirachi without really seeing the Natu, though. But that should be okay. Like I said, not really the strongest start, I would say. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to Artazon, get out a Flittle, and see what's available to us. We do have access to the Mew EX. But I don't know if I want to get that out right away, though. I think I might just want to get like a couple Flittle going. Usually one of the strategies that I like to do is... you start with like a Flittle, like a couple Natus, get the draw engine going first, and then once we get an Espathra established, then get out more Flittles and give us time to get out more Xatus. But I think, based on the kind of deck that we're facing here, I think I want to go with an extra Flittle. That's going to be the play here for sure. Another reason I don't really want to go for a Mew is based on the hand that I have, I can't really thin it out correctly. It's a little iffy. So an energy there, and then we will pass. Alright, then we'll see what my opponent has. I know they definitely don't mind going second, though, that's for sure. Since, I mean, Roaring Moon's definitely strong going second, since it can attack right away, and it can play its supporter right away. A little extra step it can do, along with playing cards like Squawkabilly as well to get some initial draw going, accelerate through the deck. Roaring Moon's a very fast setup deck, and obviously left unchecked, it can definitely cause some issues. Alright, so they got more Pico. Which honestly, if I'm my opponent, I'm thinking I want to get the more Pico powered up if that's possible. Primarily because it can knock out Jirachi with ease. That's the main thing. Knock out Jirachi with ease, and then set up a Roaring Moon for later. Forcing us to sort of make our other decisions as well as far as where we want to put energy and whatnot. Alright, they did Squawk and Seize. They got rid of a few useful things right there. A Dark Patch and a Cross Switcher is definitely not what they wanted to get rid of, but they did get a Dark Energy in the discard pile, though. So, at the moment, I think they're fine with their setup. We'll see what else they got. They got a Pokestop, which in reality might be tempting for us to use if we want to. Not sure if we will. I think it kind of depends on what we're looking at here. Our hand doesn't really offer a lot, to be honest. So it might be sort of enticing to use it. Alright. Their Pokestop got them 2 Earthen Vessels and a energy switch. And looking at their discard, they do, like, aside from obviously, you know, the Cross Switcher and the Dark Patch, they actually have a pretty decent discard pile with those 3 energies in there. Roaring Moon's a deck that does play out of the discard pile when it comes to its energies. Like right there, they're going to use Galarian Moltres to use its Dire Flame Wings, or... oh no, they used, I'm sorry. They used the 4 Sealstone. Probably to get that Professor Sada. Now, we already know they have an Energy Switch in hand. If they attach Energy Switch onto Morpeko and then switch out the Greninja, then we're going to see a very fast attack on the Jirachi. we might see this turn. There's energy switch. So they do move over. They actually put it over on the Roaring Moon, which is interesting. I'm surprised they're doing that. I don't know if I agree with that. I think if I was them, I would be attack with the Morpeko. They had all the resources to attack with Morpeko. I'm surprised they didn't there. And they're going right for the Roaring Moon. A bit aggressive from them. A play I don't really agree with. I don't know if they realize also that Espathra, it has that Terra type of grass, which can definitely one-shot the Roaring Moon. So yeah, right now we're doing 60, 90, 120, 150. Weakness makes it 300. So we can actually put this energy on the Flittle on the bench, and then Professor's Research. Not going to use the Pokestop here, mainly because we don't need to. Alright. We are still missing Xatus, though. I would really like to see a Xatu at some point. Alright, and then we'll Sideball. Okay. But yeah, they could have easily avoided that if they just attacked with the Morpeko and forced me to attack Morpeko instead. And then they could have just gone in with Roaring Moon and just dealt with that. However, with the Roaring Moon attack, they would have needed 4 energies because of our, again, our Dazzling Gaze ability. Would have forced them to put another energy on there. And that's definitely not something they want to do, is waste another energy just to attack. You can definitely see why this is one of the reasons why this is strong against decks like Roaring Moon, making their attacks cost more, and, well, just the fact that we have the type advantage as well. Alright. Now, let me just see real quick. I know they have one Dark Patch. They do have one Dark Patch and Discard Pile. Make it another one, so they're going to accelerate onto there. They need 2 more energies if they want to attack this turn. We'll see if they get there. They probably will. I mean, this deck is pretty much resource heavy on a lot of things. There's the energy switch. So, we'll see if they actually know about the ability. And they do know about the ability, so they are going to power that up. They are going to get the KO on the Espathra. We're going to get hit with an Iono, which is fine. Our hand wasn't great. And this hand is a lot better. Definitely cool with this hand. Got Xatu, we got an energy. We definitely have some stuff going for us. Again, I'm not sweating too hard in this matchup. As long as you draw well, you're definitely fine for sure. We're definitely going to see a Frenzied Gouging. They'll take that out. Though from the way the prize trade is, we should definitely be okay, though, from what the prize trade is giving us here. Since they knocked out a single prize or their very first turn. But yeah, we're definitely getting a knockout on their Roaring Moon. We're going to go ahead and Clairvoyant Sense to grab this energy, throw it on the Flittle, get 2 new cards. Hopefully something good. I did get a Mew, which can help us. I did get Mew. Not sure if I want to do anything else with this hand, though. I think I kind of like the cards I have. I don't really want to discard anything. There's no reason to Boss's Orders, counter... There's no reason to do any of these things right now. So I'm just going to Sideball for the knockout. Which 360 is a bit overkill based on what it had left. Alright, now we'll see if they can get any kind of setup again. It might be a little bit tricky, but we'll see. They went through a fair, a fair amount, a decent amount of resources. They still got some stuff left. I think maybe they can still pull off a little something. And I've only seen one Professor Sada being used. Yes, yeah, like right there, they do have another Roaring Moon. We'll see if they have another Iono at all. They could have another Iono. Maybe lower our hand size. However, they still need to get energies onto that Roaring Moon, though. They're going to need another 4 if they want to get to where they want to get to. We'll see what this brings. There's a Mew. I can draw in some cards if they get their hand thinned down enough. There's a Sada, so that's going to be 1 energy. They can get another energy in play with Moltres and then using an energy switch. And And I know they still have maybe like, I think like 2 dark patches left, which there's a dark patch right there, so make it 1. They haven't attached their energy yet for turn. But like I said, they're not going to Iono us, so we're going to be fine anyway. But you can definitely see how like Roy Moon can just get energies on the board super easily, regardless of the situation. As long as your resources are managed well and you don't have a rough squawk and seize on the first turn, you can definitely get some plays going with that. Either way, I have the Ultra Ball in hand to get the other Espathra. We should have them all in the deck. Should be there. Let me just see real quick. That's not going to do enough. I was going to say we could attack with Flittle, but that's not going to be enough damage. Or maybe get 3 heads with Natu. We can always do that. But that doesn't really seem likely. Alright, but like I said, as long as we have what's his face in deck, Espathra, we're gonna be okay. I'm gonna go discard those, grab Espathra, and I do expect him to scoop at this very moment. There it is. Yep, as expected, they did scoop it up, and we did take our first game with this deck. Again, we did have a bit of an advantage, but you can definitely see, like, type advantage aside, the power of Dazzling Gaze, forcing my opponent to throw another energy on there and waste resources just to get to something as simple as attacking. But yeah, we'll see what more we've got. Alright, so let's see what this next game brings us. I see they have all psychic accessories. I'm not really sure what that's going to mean for us, but we'll see what they're playing. Right after this coin flip, which we didn't win, unfortunately. We'll see if we're going first or second. Hopefully we get to go first, and they want to go second. Just waiting for that. Alright, so they'll be going first. Not what we wanted to see, but not the end of the world. Alright, and this is a very interesting hand we've got. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with Natu. We'll start with Natu. Protect our Flittle since we'll be attacking with that. Alright, we're playing against Gholdengo. Okay. Not really sure what the psychic accessories are for, but sure. So, knowing that they play Gholdengo with the Palkia, that obviously means we're going to be seeing Greninja get some action in as well. Gholdengo might be a rough one for us, though, because they only have like 1 energy attached, and I'm almost positive Gholdengo's got grass resistance to begin with. But we'll see what happens, though. Definitely see what happens. Alright, so our turn. It's a pretty rough hand. Hand is fairly rough. I think, because we have Super Rod in hand, I think I am going to Pokestop. If we mill some Pokemon, then we can just throw them back. Which we actually did mill some stuff, which unfortunately is going to go hand in hand with us having to get rid of our counter catcher. Really what we want to see. I was kind of hoping for an Ultra Ball, but is what it is. I'm thinking if they got that Gimme Ghoul in the active, I might want to just try and soften that up. So we're actually going to attack with Natu. Part of me wanted to save the energy, but maybe use it for the Flittle, but it's okay. Alright, and then I think here we're going to just triple smash. Unfortunately, we didn't see any of our VIP passes, so those are going to be dead cards for the remainder of the game. We got 1 heads at least. Not like the best, though. Would have loved all 3. Again, I know that play might have been a bit risky, but hey, you gotta sometimes just go for it. Alright, they did Pokestop. They didn't really get a good hit off of that. They actually didn't get a good hit the first time either, I don't think. I think they got like maybe 1 thing, I believe. And yeah, this thing is... Whoop. Yeah, this thing is resistant to grass. That's going to be a big problem for us. We'll need like an extra energy if we want to take the knockout on that. But unfortunately, Gholdengo only ever has like 1 energy attached to it. So that's just going to make things a bit harder for us just to get to. And of course, like Natu being only 50 HP is pretty much going to spell we're going to need a lot of energy just to even handle this thing in the first place. Which is kind of one of the things that, again, Espathra does sort of struggle against, is when they don't put a lot of energy in play. And they're just going to boss out Flittle right away. I guess I don't really mind them doing that. They waste a boss, and they basically just waste a boss right there. I don't mind that. Okay, so let's see what we're looking at here. I haven't done a deck search yet, so I don't really know what we've got going for us. Alright, I'm going to Clairvoyant Sense. Hope we try to dig our way over to an Espathra, even another Xatu. Let's get going. I did see that they did mill their Greninja, but I'm going to go ahead and put the Manaphy out anyway. There's no reason not to. Nope, no pun intended. Alright, we do have the other two Espathra. We've got those. We have the other Super Rod. We used the one earlier. Which, I mean, kind of unfortunately for us, we have all of our VIP Pass still in the deck. Alright. Yeah, this is kind of the things I mean, where like this deck can actually have a bunch of flawed matchups in a way. Like the matchups that it has that are amazing for it are basically amazing. But then there's just some matches where the deck just sort of drops the ball. Alright, so we'll do an Iono here. Not that they don't mind an Iono anyway. Their deck is pretty good at drawing resources. Alright, so we've got a Xatu. We can accelerate more. So we're going to Fog Crystal out an energy. And we can even get our Espathra here on the board and start attacking. I'm just hoping it's going to help at some point. Although I will say, I take that back. They actually do need to put another energy on the Goldengo. Sort of forgot about Espathra's ability, so it does force them to attach another energy. Alright, so we'll Clairvoyant Sense onto you. See what we get. Got a Nest Ball, which Nest Ball I'm going to use to get the Mew. And then use it for its draw power, and later on it can even be used as a pivot. Alright, so retreat into you. And then of course resistance comes into play. So unfortunately we're only doing 120 damage. It's not quite enough to get knockout. I think with one more energy, let me just double check. Yeah, one more energy we can get the... Actually, not even one more energy. If they keep attacking with this one, all we have to do is... Well, I mean, they might just knock us out anyway. We'll see if they have enough resources. So I think the main thing that's going to help us in this matchup is the fact that we have our ability, forcing them to put another energy into play if they want to attack. That's kind of what we're looking at right here. They haven't really used much in the way of resources. They do have an energy retrieval in the discard. They haven't used any of their superiors, which I don't think they have much energy to begin with. There's not a lot of energy in the first place, but they do have some earthen vessels, though. Again, they're still looking pretty good on resources, though. They did discard a water energy, which raises the obvious question of what else is in their hand that they didn't really want to get rid of. They're throwing more energy, so they probably will have a superior at some point, which, I mean, I don't really mind them using one up. That's just fine with me if they want to use another one. Alright. Alright. Looks like they did a pretty good Pokestop hit right there. They're going to PAL pad immediately. Nothing wrong with that if they want to, especially if they want to go for stuff. They might also try to get a boss's orders to bring up my Mew. That'll also be an easy knockout for them. They do need a total of 6 energies if they want to knock out. Did they get there is the question. I know they have an energy retrieval on hand, so that's at least 2 energies that they can get. So that's at least 2. But we don't know the rest of their hand. We know there's only 1 energy in discard pile, so unless their hand is basically all energies, I don't think they're going to get the knockout, but we'll see what happens, though. They probably could. I've seen it happen before. All right, they're only doing 100, so that's unfortunate for them. Fortunately for us, though, we're going to be in pretty good shape here. So I think I might have actually discounted the fact that our ability is putting in a lot of work. I will say, though, that moving into their next turn, I can only guess that they might be attacking with Palkia. I think Palkia would probably be their best bet as an attacker. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and Super Rod with the Espathra, the Flittle, and I think I want the energy back. Yeah, the energy is perfect for us there. Alright, I'm going to go... I'm going to Ultra Ball, discarding the Boss and the Nest Ball. We'll get another Espathra going. Part of me kind of wants to save this hand, but at the same time, too, I want to get another Espathra powered up, assuming they will attack with Palkia. I have to assume they will be going up with Palkia, since that's the thing that's in the most reach at the moment. They can literally Star Portal onto Palkia and then get another energy on Goldengo to get that powered up for the future. So they're definitely not out of this, for sure. I think they're still in okay shape. Could use ability here. Let's just use it. It's probably something we're going to end up discarding anyway. Let's see. It's an Iono. So that actually does change up the formula a bit. We can actually Iono instead, which I'm kind of relieved. So that means we can actually hold on to our Crushing Hammer if we want to be a bit aggressive onto any of their Pokemon and get an energy off the board. That'll help us out. All right. So yeah, we'll go ahead and Psyball. That'll take out Goldengo. And yeah, I gotta assume that they are going to be attacking with the Palkia next turn, since that's the only thing they've got. Alright, and they do bring it up as expected. Alright, like I said, they do need to get 3 energy onto the Palkia, so I'm assuming they're going to Star Portal and get those 3 water energy on there. Gonna Avery. That's not really something I wanted to see. I think we can get rid of the Manaphy at this point, and I think it might have to be the Mew. Let me double check. Yeah, I think we gotta ditch the Mew here. I kind of didn't want to, but it is what it is. But I'm definitely fine with discarding the Manaphy, though, since they can't really get a fast acceleration onto Greninja anymore. 80, 100, 120, 140, 160. We're at 160, so the Avery, even with the Avery, they can still take us out. All right, the Pokestop, which would have seemed good on paper, wasn't really. It's basically, yeah, it basically got them discard fodder for their Ultra Ball, which they didn't even get anything with. And we're waiting for them to use Star Portal. They put Manaphy in play themselves. They don't really need it, but I guess they're just trying to use it just to increase damage output. Since I don't know where their other Gimme... I know there's one Gimme Ghoul in the discard pile. They have to have prized one. I'm assuming they prized a Gimme Ghoul. Alright, we're going to see a Star Portal. They'll probably throw all 3 energy onto the Palkia. Okay. There's that. And there's the Subspace Swell for the knockout. Alright, let's see if we can make the climb to knock out that Palkia. See if we can get there. So right now we're doing 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240. So 2 energies will take the knockout. I'm going to get another Flittle in play. I'm going to Clairvoyant Sense. Attach 1 to draw 2, and then Clairvoyant Sense again to attach 1 and draw 2. Alright, and in this scenario, we can actually get away with... I assume I have another... Hopefully I have another Flittle. We should have another Flittle in the deck. I remember putting one back. We're not Flittle, I mean like Natu. Yeah, it's fine. Do I have a Xatu, though? I don't know if I do. No, I do not have a Xatu. Do not have a Xatu. So I'll be Flittle. I think we made a... Hold on, do we have prize? I prized a Xatu, so that could have easily been Natu. I can still make it Natu, though. I still can. So we're knocking out Palkia anyway. Bench won't really... Again, the bench won't really matter at this point. Alright, so go ahead and use that for Natu. We will switch into Espathra. And then... I would love to get rid of these Battle VIP passes, but we can't. I'm going to Iono them. I need to get their hand size down to something we can deal with. That's what we're looking at. Only headquarters doesn't help us at this moment. I do have an energy, but I want to save that for draw. Oh, wait, hold on. I do need another energy, though. I do. Okay, so that actually has to get attached over there. I think we're almost kind of cooked on energies, though. That's kind of the thing. We are a bit cooked on our energies. So I needed another energy, and I didn't even know it. And there's only like one psychic left, so it's not going to leave us in like a good spot. Let me see. Okay. So we're hoping that they don't have enough energies to knock out our Espathra. That's kind of what we're banking on at the moment. Again, it is unfortunate that we did have to use both of our Super Rods, well, the one Super Rod kind of early, and then the other one we used a little while ago. So the majority of our energies are pretty much on this. 6 are here, 3 are there, and we've got 1 left. We run 10 energies in the deck. Right, they do have 2 coin bonuses they can use. That's going to help them build their hand back up. We'll see if they get there. They still need 1 to attach, though, if they want to actually attack me. We'll see if they actually get to that point. Or not. 7 cards in hand. I think their odds are pretty good, though. Depends on how many Iridas they also have left as well. I do know they did put an Irida back, so they might actually have one in hand. And they didn't use any of their superior energy retrievals quite yet. There's also an Earthen Vessel as well. Get more energies. I assume they still have some left. I think, if I remember the energy count correctly, Goldengo usually plays about 11 energy in total between water and metal. We'll see if they get there, though. Alright. They should get there. 4 back. Yeah. 200. They still need to attach an energy, and if they want to actually attack, though. They still need to attach. Yeah, but I gotta assume at this point they'll probably be in like the best shape. We have no more Ionos left. They did attach an energy. And then we'll see what they've got going. 6 out of 7 of those cards has to be energies, though, if they do want to take the knockout. And they've used all their abilities. We'll see if they can get there. If they don't, I think we actually have a good shot at stealing this game. Against the matchup, I didn't really think we were going to do good against. But even if we lose, I got to say, I think we did fairly decent. And no, they just scoop. They just scoop. And if we did have that last energy in the deck, then we would have used that to take the last knockout that we needed to win. So surprisingly, we did well against a matchup that I wasn't really expecting to do well against. But again, that basically just shows the power of Dazzling Gaze as an ability to force them to go through more resources than they really should, making our attack even that much stronger, especially in like situations where we're dealing with sort of a rough matchup. All right, let's try to get like one more game in before we call it there. We'll see if we can get a good one out of this or not. All right, wait for the coin flip. Of course, the game takes forever to do a coin flip of all things. All right, they won the coin flip. They're going to go first or second. Hopefully they want to go second. That's kind of what I want. and they are going to let me go first. So it still at the same time raises an obvious question of what deck are they playing? We'll just have to wait and see. But we do have a VIP pass in hand in though, so that definitely helps. We'll see what we're working with. They're going against Miraidon, okay. Going against the Don. Which might actually be a decent matchup for us, assuming that we get the full setup that we want. Alright, I'm thinking of going Flittle Natu here. Let me still check the rest of my hand. I could Ultra Ball to get another Pokemon out, though. I could. It's tempting. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Grab that. And yeah, I'm definitely not against getting another Pokemon out. Probably another Natu. This might be a bit of a risky play, but at the very least, I mean, the worst case scenario, they just go like 2 energies on a Raikou, boss out Flittle, and then that's just that. But I'm definitely willing to take that risk right now just to get our draw power going. Alright. Alright, we'll see that if that's enough right there. Alright, we'll see a tandem unit. I'm surprised they actually put the Spiritomb in play right away. I definitely don't agree with that at all. They basically blindly put a Spiritomb in play without even knowing what we were even playing in the first place. Yeah, that even shuts down their own Raikou's ability. So, not very useful. But they are putting up the Raikou as a threat. That can definitely knock us out. Assuming, yeah, they're going to go Generator, 2 energies, switch, and then boss, and then... Yep, I'll look pretty goofy for my decision making. But worst case scenario, just slow us down by like a turn. Yep, I think that's pretty much what we got going here. They're going to Peony, though. Okay, so... Could we just double Cross Switcher? But the deck doesn't usually run Cross Switcher, though. VIP pass in court, so Squawkabilly, okay. So they're playing the Peony version of Miraidon, which isn't a very common way to play the deck these days. I haven't seen Peony builds in a hot minute. Nowadays, I usually see it with like EXP share and stuff like that. But they are still playing it this way, though. Alright. Like I said, they'll get the knockout on the Natu, which I don't mind. I can basically... Alright, I'm just going to get more energies in play. Which we are expecting them to get, like, high hit rates off the generators, though. Energy on the Mareep is interesting. I don't know why, but... Hey, have at it. It's all good. Alright. Let's go. Got Espathra going down. This deck doesn't bench snipe at all, so I know we're going to be fine. We can just Iono, and then hopefully get some neat stuff off of this. I mean, I can get a Xatu out. I can get a Xatu going. I have League HQ in hand, which I kind of want to use. I do want to use the League HQ. Alright, so let's go Ultra Ball. I want to discard another Espathra, but I think I have to. Just for the energy's sake, yeah. I think we have to discard that. We'll get a Xatu going. And that's going to go on the benched one. We do want to take advantage of their beach court. While that's still out. I do intend on bumping that. Alright, then we'll go Fog Crystal. I think I want a Fog Crystal for Mew here. It does sound pretty... Actually, let me double check. 2, 3... You'll draw 2 cards. Yeah, I'll take the gamble on the Mew. I think it might be worth the risk. Alright, so we'll go Mew. Gotta remember to retreat first before we do anything. Because again, I do plan on countering their stadium. Or going to be short in energy, unfortunately, but is what it is. And they will get the swing. So we do get a Fog Crystal for another Flittle at the very least. And we slow them down. Now, Path of the Peak can definitely counteract with our abilities. Assuming I assume they run the Path, but I don't think this build runs Path anymore, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we're just going to be one short. We wouldn't have hit the other Xatu anyway. So, this play was still fine, though. Let's see if we get the stadium. They have a pretty decently sized hand, so they're going to have options. I know they used 2 generators. They did use 2 generators so far. Got some energies in the discard pile for Flaffy. I know Raichu V will probably be their main player at the moment. Alright, they got that. Generator. Either way, this is definitely Espathra is definitely going to be a 2-shot for sure. I'm surprised they're putting energies on Mareep. Maybe they run Ampharos. They could be running Ampharos. That's definitely something they could have, which you don't usually see in these decks. But I mean, hey, if they run it, they run it. I think that is like the only reason they are throwing energies on Flaffy. It's gotta be. All right, they are gonna get rid of our stadium, unfortunately. So that's all healed, but they still need another energy though, which shouldn't be a problem. We'll see what they get with the Peony. Maybe another generator? Could be. Get the potential of a... Okay, they have Escape Rope, which I don't mind. I don't mind that. I think we'll give them the Natu. Yeah, I'll give them the Natu. That's fine. I don't really want to give them that, but it's okay. Definitely need to get another Natu in play, though. So I believe Super Rod's definitely in our future. Alright, so 16, 90, 120. We do need to put another energy on Espathra if we want to knock out that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and Super Rod back in 1, 2, 3. Fog Crystal for Natu. So we'll do that. Bench that. And I think here I just manually attach and then restart. Use Mew EX while it's at its full potential. Alright, and then I'm going to Clairvoyant Sense onto the Flittle. Alright, we have an Iono though, but not really feeling about using it at the moment. They only have 2 cards in hand, so I think I can chill, be patient with it. I got a little scared. I thought it was going to let me retreat for a second. Sometimes this game just gets stuck. Alright, and then, yeah, we'll just Sideball onto Miraidon for the knockout. Alright. Some decent cards off the prizes. If their hand size remains small, then Research is definitely an option we can use. Alright, there's the Raichu. Do they have another, what's-his-face, another generator, which they can get off of this? If they get the generator here, then they'll be in great shape to knock out Espathra. That's kind of the only things we were kind of worrying about there. Well, I went through, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. They still have some energies left, which this should definitely hit it for sure. Again, they do run a high energy count. Alright. So I think they still need something. Surprised they're going up with that right away, knowing that they need another energy. Wait, what? They messed up. They definitely misplayed. They definitely misplayed. You gonna see him scoop here? Because of it? I think we might. Again, this card's still new, so obviously we're bound to see mistakes like that happen. I've seen so many people misplay against this deck so many times because they forget about Espathra's ability. Alright, they're going to Raikou here. Maybe this can get them something useful. We'll see. Let's see what that gets them. Escape Rope. You know what? I'll give him the Flittle. I'll just give him Flittle. That's fine. This Lightning Rondo. That's fine. Alright. Yeah, I really didn't want to give up another Natu there because I want to get the energy acceleration going. Again, it might be a little bit backwards the way I'm playing it, but at the very least, it feels safe. You have a boss in hand. I think I am going to end up doing Iono. 90, 120, 150. We might even be able to push for our own boss's orders and just take the knockout. That might also be a play. I know we still have one left in deck. I think I got rid of one earlier. I did get rid of one earlier. And we also still have access to Counter Catcher since they are ahead on prizes. Go. Let me just double check everything. Flittle. We still have another Flittle. Actually, we have Flittle in our hand. Could bench another one just in case. Or do I value the bench space for a Natu? That's fine. We'll do that. And then, so 60, 90, 120, 150, 80, 10. I'm going to start powering this other one up. Sort of get it ready. I know I have one other Super Rod left as well, so we can get some energies off of that if we need to. Alright, let's see what we get. Not really the most useful hand, but it's good enough. Good enough if we want to, like, take out a Raikou. But they're going to come up and knock me out with Raichu, though. I know that for sure. I am expecting a Raichu knockout. Alright. Alright, you have that there. So we're going to see that. There's a beach court. Sure, that's fine. Might come down to the last drop, I believe. And honestly, if they leave energies on the Raichu, that gives us a pretty good shot, but I don't think they will, though. I think they want to try to make it as hard as possible for us to get the knockout. 8, 4, 7, 8. We still have 2 energies left. We still have 2 energies left. This is possible, though. This could be Iono. It could Iono us down to a low hand size. But it looks like they're going to save it, though. They're not using it yet. We'll see where they do their energy discard. I gotta assume they're gonna take some off the active just to, like, yep, there you go. Yeah, that's the smart play to do. Make things harder for us for the knockout. 60, 90, 120. So we need 3 energies and our Espathra if we want to knock this out. Alright, so not that it benefits us at all, but we'll put that down. How many Fog Crystals do we have left is the real question. We got 1 left, so it's going to be a bit of a build-up to try to get to where we want to get to. Alright. So we got that. Everything is looking possible. Alright, I'm going to Super Rod back all energies. I really just want to see all energies at this point. So we'll do that. Ultra Ball away these 2. We're not going to need them. I could, yep. Do I want to get, I could get Espathra from the deck. Yeah, I could. Alright, so I still have 4 energies in deck. Looks like we did prize the last Fog Crystal. If I remember correctly, I think we were running 4. So we definitely prized the 1. Alright, and then we're going to go Hammer. Hopefully hit the energy. Which which it's tails, which, you know, is what it is. All right, so now we need, actually, no, wait, we need to restart first. We're going to restart first. It's a smart way to go about it. And actually, we topped a counter catcher for game. Still check 60, 90, 120. Yep. So I don't even need to try anything else. We're just going to counter catcher up that. I kind of wanted to see if we would have hit it anyway, but let's not BM. We're not going to BM and just go right for the win. All right. There's the GGs. There's that Fog Crystal that we were looking for as well on top of that. But yeah, another solid game with Espathra. Okay, so yeah, in conclusion, I do believe Espathra as a deck does have a fair amount of potential behind it, as you can see. Especially with the ability Dazzling Gaze, you can definitely get some crazy lockdown from that and help keep certain matchups in check. I do believe, like, based on things I played already, Chien Pao and Gardevoir, decks that don't really care about making attacks cost more, they're definitely your harder matchups, and, you know, ones that can keep, like, energies off the board in the first place is hard as well. So you're not always, like, one-shotting stuff. Like, more times than not, you're definitely two-shotting things, but again, you can have that control aspect of things with this deck and still make things not as bad for you. But yeah, Espathra does have a lot of potential, and I do recommend giving this deck a try if you're definitely interested for sure. I'll leave the list down in the description below if you do want to try it for yourself. And again, let me know in the comments, what would you change about this deck? How would you run it? And what do you think about the deck in general? Like I said, I do think it has a lot of potential in general. Definitely isn't going to take the world by storm. Definitely isn't going to be like a top tier deck, but again, the potential is there. But yes, that's going to do it for this video for today. If you did like what you saw, be sure to leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, leave all that good stuff on YouTube that videos like to see if you did enjoy it. Any questions about the deck at all or anything else, just let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to answer you as well. And if you are looking for the main source of my content, I do stream over on Twitch every day except for Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. And I'll leave a link down for my Twitch down below, along with a link for my Limitless tournaments that we host over on Monday. There is always registration open for a tournament, so if you do go to my organizer link down there and follow that, it'll take you to the most recent tournament, and you can register for that for Sunny's Weekly. But yeah, that's going to do it for me today for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you soon.